That Man and His Manga.
Hello and welcome to That Man. This is another manga related thing, and today we're going to look at the differences between an English, a German and a Japanese copy of One Piece Volume 44. Because hey, that is the volume with Nico Robin on the front, and you know, you can't have enough of a good thing. Now, I see a lot of videos out there just talking about English manga, or maybe sometimes even the Japanese manga, but I don't really see many videos looking at the differences between each of these different styles, because each publisher does seem to have a way of doing things. And interestingly enough, out of all of these, it seems like it's the American one that's kind of the most different compared to the original source material, which is quite weird. As you can see pretty much straight away, we have an absolutely huge, ungodly, unsightly number on this cover, and it is something that I did cover when I compared the English to the Japanese volumes, with volume 91 I believe it was, where the number just completely obscured Robin's face, which was a crime against all crimes. And it was actually the reason I went for volume 44, because yeah, you're not going to hear me complain about that every single video. So we're going to focus more on the German compared to the others in this video, because I have already covered the English to Japanese ones and an English to Japanese light novel video. So let's have a look and see what we can see pretty much straight away. Now, this Japanese volume is quite old, so it doesn't have all of the wrappings and the inserts that would come with a brand new Japanese volume. That's just the way it's going to go. But let's have a look, and straight away, the colours on this German version look so different to the others. Now, I can see down here, we can see a little bit of like pinky purpley colour, which is similar to the Japanese one, whereas this volume has all of a darker blue, darker bluey greeny, paddly pooly, you know, a sock that's been in too hot a wash kind of colour. It's quite interesting that they've just went and they've managed to cover obviously all of the background stuff in all of these, but then this one just has a weird kind of turquoisey colour instead of, which I suppose is similar to the top of this. Let's look at this a little bit further, shall we? So as we can see on this one, we've got Jump Comics, Carlson Manga, and then we've got Shonen Jump Manga, Ichiro Oda. So I like how out of all of these, the only one that has even more branding is this Water 7 bit on the top, which this is Enies Lobby. This is the Enies Lobby arc, not necessarily the Water 7 arc, so I'm kind of a bit unsure why Viz's got the Water 7 thing on here. And the German volume is around the same size as the Japanese volume. It's, in fact, it is a very good comparison to the Japanese volume. Even in terms of thickness, they are around the same. Yes, as you can guys see, this is a very old copy, so it has had a lot of yellowing when it comes to the whole of this manga. Obviously, the Japanese one, it comes with the dust cover, so when you have a dust cover, it just has everything. So it's got a little picture inside, and then we get further black and white sepia coloured picture on the cover. German one doesn't have any of that. It's just kind of, you just open up One Piece, and then we go straight into the whole of the story itself. So that's quite interesting. Now, I did check these originally, and all three of these have exactly the same amount of chapters. You don't get more chapters in one of them than the other. However, the English one is a lot more thicker than the other ones. which is quite weird. I mean, it's hard to kind of see, but when you put this on a shelf, you can definitely see how the English one really feels a lot more thicker than the Japanese volumes, which is quite weird. I mean, it's one of those weird things. It's one of those weird things because overall it is quite minimal in how different it is in terms of thickness. However, because of the extra size, and once you put them on the shelf, if you put a few English volumes together, that will be about... It'd probably be an extra volume. So, for example, if you've got about 3 volumes, it's probably going to be about the equivalent of 3.5 of the Japanese volumes. I don't know what it is. It just seems to stack that a little bit better on the Japanese and the German volumes than it does the English one. I don't really understand the logic behind that. I don't know if it's the material they use. I mean, this feels definitely a lot more different to these two, which is quite weird. Also, when you're kind of looking in here, the German... In terms of the colouring, in terms of the printing, a German version looks very much more similar to the English one in some aspects. However, the Nico Robin looks more closer to the Japanese one compared to the English one, which is quite weird. I'm wondering if originally this is based on the English release, then kind of moved than the Japanese one. I don't know. I'm assuming they're using the same materials as the English publisher uses compared to what obviously the Japanese publisher uses. I really don't know. I'd be interested to find out though, because I'm assuming, because I know in anime, when it comes to anime, for example, if Anime Limited or Funimation or whoever it is publish a DVD release or Blu-ray release, they will be asking the Japanese publisher or the creator for any materials what they can use, and that would have to be all signed off. So they will send across all of this stock imagery or whatever that has been approved on Japanese side, and they have to use that, which is why I feel like this looks a little bit more like this compared to this one in terms of the way it's been designed. But it's very minimal. I mean, you wouldn't notice anything different unless you had all 3 on a shelf or like this. This is obviously a comparison video. You can see a little bit more of the differences, even no matter how minimal they are, just by having 3 different volumes in front of you. So one thing as well is that I love how the skull changes of each one, even the writing. So the writing just changes. Like that one's a little, even just the design for it. It just looks a little bit more, I don't know, Microsoft Word kind of word arty in the German version compared to the English and the Japanese one. But I found it interesting how all 3 of them look pretty different, even with just the skull. All the skulls look different to each other, which is kind of weird when you think about it. You would think they would just use the same one all the way along, but no. They've got to do their own little thing. So let's look at the side, the spine of the manga, the thing you're going to be looking at when it's on the shelf. So first up, we have the One Piece Shonen Jump one, which, there we go, Shonen Jump, One Piece, Water 7, 44 Ichiro Oda, Nico Robin with no background, and the Viz Media. Then we've got, bloody hell, that's kind of like... That feels very minimal. Just the same kind of, yeah, there we go. Ichiro Oda, One Piece, Volume 44, and then a very small Nico Robin there. And the Japanese one, again, I love how all different these look. They just look so different compared to each other. It's kind of weird. Obviously, the Volume 44 one has the bigger of the art, whereas the Japanese one actually cuts a lot of the art off, and this one is literally just a screen or a bit of the actual front cover. There's been very little editing done, which is interesting. The back, well, all of the backs look entirely different, which is kind of interesting. So yeah, it's. I like that. I like the fact that each of these have different designs on the back of it as well. So let's have a look. Let's have a look at the price. So if I'm going to go off UK, so this was originally, I can tell you now, this was originally, well, 390 yen, which was in today's money is about £4. This one is €6.50, and this is $6.99. Now I can tell you now, this did not cost $6.99 because I could not find a copy of this, and this cost us about this. Well, this important. This one was about £10 once I imported it. This was about £10, even though it's an English release, and this one it probably cost an extra £2 or something when I originally imported it 15 years ago, because it was stupidly cheap to import. But yeah, the price it's very similar between these two, I would probably say. But even base price, €6.99, €6.50, it's about a 1-to-1 conversion. Interestingly, while I can't really read much German, I can definitely see that there is some things on here where even there we can see Nico Robin, and even looking on the back of here, there's nothing about Nico Robin on the back of this. Buster Call. Nothing on the back of this about the Buster Call, which is quite interesting that both of these have very different synopsis, even though they have exactly the same content inside. Something as well. And this, I don't know, if someone is German, please confirm, because I have noticed that some of the characters actually have different names. Ruffy. So let's have a look. So I want to confirm this. If you German learning, could you confirm if people call it the German names or if they call it the English names? So we've got Monkey D. Ruffy, Laura Nora Zorro, Nami Same, Sanji, Tony Chopper, Nico Robin, Soga King. So really, it's Luffy and Zorro which are called different. Looking down here, Spandown, Rob Lucci, Eki instead of Kaku, and Komodori Yule instead of Fukuro. Let's have a look over Darot Shanks, Louis. I don't think he's called Louis. Frankie spent a little bit different. But yeah, I thought that was quite interesting. So please, if you guys do know German, do you guys call the characters the German names, or do you call them the English or Japanese names? I'm really interested to find out. Obviously, this is actually down Usopp's character Soga King is down as Soga King in this, which I believe in this one they localize it to Sniper King. That's right. So I mean, I'm seeing that this one calls it Roronoa Zorro instead of Zorro as well. So yeah, we know it's kind of weird, but that was something interesting. Now I've looked through these, and to be honest, overall this one feels like more like a pocketbook. There's something about this compared to the other ones. This feels more like this, where you could slip it in your pocket, whereas this feels a little bit too bulky. Obviously in this one as well you get a lot more of the brand, and oh look, we're getting Rory Kenshin. But yeah, it's you do get a lot more of the adverts and stuff, whereas obviously this one you would just get a little insert at the back where it just kind of says, in fact this one actually does, this one says all of the releases that were out at the time, so you can kind of date it. So let's have a look at this. One Piece, Naruto, Hunter x Hunter, Bleach. This one's Eye Shield 21. That's just up here, you can see the little 21. You know, at that point there was only 22 volumes. 25 volumes of Bleach when One Piece had 44. Wow. Death Note had been complete. Reborn, D. Grey Man, Dragon Ball, Two Love Ru. That was only on volume 1. Two Love Ru was only on volume 1. Slam Dunk. Claymore was only on volume 11. Steel Ball Run was only on volume 10. Go Ahead, Nora. Nora's Rise of the UK Clan, or am I thinking of a different one? There's probably other series as well in here that I'm not really getting. Let's have a look. Well, there's one in here that's 52 volumes, which I'm going to guess is Kochi Kame at that point. But yeah, it's nice to kind of have that little timescape into what was actually releasing at that point. I love that. I love looking back on these. I mean, even here, we kind of see Rurouni Kenshin, Vizbig, Toriko, Tegami Bachi, Bakuman, And yeah, I love seeing that, seeing what was being released at that time, especially when you come to older manga and you're just like, you're looking, which one was it? I think it was Seven Seas, or there's one, and I remember looking through it, and every single thing I was looking at was long out of print, and I was just like, yeah, this is, it was a new enough series as well. I was just like, yeah. So yeah, this is some of the differences between the One Piece in English, German and Japanese. I believe I've got a French version, an Italian version, a Polish version and a Spanish version still to come, so we will continue to expand on this and cover more as we go along. If you did like this, remember to leave a like and consider subscribing, and I will see you guys next time. Thanks for coming, and thanks again for staying. Goodbye.